women shall be saved through childbearing, if they continue in faith and love and sanctity with self-restraint. This is an incredible verse. What does it mean? Women shall be saved through childbearing? Saved from what? If you go back to Genesis, you will remember that it was Eve who first fell to Satan's temptations. It was Eve who was deceived. It was Eve who led the human race into sin. Adam just followed along. But it was Eve who bears the stigma of having led the race into sin. A woman can be saved from that stigma. I believe that's what the text of 1 Timothy is saying. She can reverse the stigma of having led the race into sin by raising godly children. Once she contributed the main contribution to the corruption of the human race, she can turn that around by bearing godly children. She can perpetuate the righteousness of the race, saved through childbearing. That is a marvelous calling. That is God's calling for a woman, to be carried out in the domain of her home, as a keeper at home, a worker at home, a lover of children, a lover of her husband, submissive and obedient. I admit that the tender, sweet, and emotional side of motherhood is precious, but only because a certain hard-headed reason and biblical discipline with lots of hard work is steering the process. I'm not saying Christian women are to be weak. Christian women are to be strong and to have their approach to mothering anchored in the Scriptures, not in their emotions. But you're not going to learn mothering anywhere but in the Bible, or from the example of another mother applying biblical truth. You're certainly not going to learn it from our culture. You're not going to learn it from somebody on a talk show. You're not going to learn it from a magazine article that you pick up at the check stand in the market. You're not going to learn how to be a wife and mother from classes on self-esteem or from books written by psychologists who don't believe that the Bible is the Word of God. A healthy, godly view of mothering comes out of the Word of God, and it has to be learned there, and that's what we've been discussing. Motherhood is not a romanticized ideal. It is a God-given task. It is suited perfectly to a woman's frame and accomplished joyfully by hard work and strength in the midst of tenderness through God's grace and provision.